Okay, so we got the game saved here. So let's see. So we're going to have a status screen here. So current week, start the week, reset the work rates, which I'll explain in a moment. Toggle displays between scheduler and romances. So money, energy, and stress. Current money predicted money at the end of the month, in the parentheses. Current energy predicted energy at the end of the week. Stress can't be predicted, but increases each day as energy value decreases, and also based on some dialogue choices. Be careful not to let stress reach 100%. And we have an activity work rate here. Set the work rate for each job. The higher the value, the more money you'll earn, but the more energy you will consume. If your energy gets too low, your stress value will increase. Getting a stress value too high can have unpleasant consequences. Predefined jobs. They can't be changed, but you can change the work rate for each of them below. So as of right now, we're actually apparently committed to all 5 jobs. We're just going to be a workaholic. Okay. So let's see. So Monday at the record store. We're going to go ahead and do, let's see, if we do all of these at -12, that'll give us minus 60 energy, so we'll still have 40 at the end of the week. And I think that's where it's set now. Yes, that will be continuing, Insomniosis. Now, let me go ahead and ask everybody, because this is just as much your playthrough as it is mine. Does anybody want to commit to more or less of any of the jobs? I will let you know something ahead of time. If you end up doing one of the jobs a lot more than the others, and you end up getting stressed, I know one of the things that happens is eventually you have to give up one of the jobs. And when that happens, that closes off that romance path. No, she's bartending, not stripping. Or possibly bouncing. It didn't really specify. So does anyone want to increase or decrease any of the jobs? Yeah, it was good. Lean on Egon's abs some more. Okay, so we'll bump up our work with him. Well, Insomniosis, I hate to say it, but that doesn't work too well, because you're probably going to be the tiebreaker if Red and Kitten disagree. Just a little. Okay, so we'll bump it up to 14. Okay, any other choices? And we will go ahead and save here while we're at it. The library? Okay, you want to bump that up or down? Up. Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and bump these up by an extra tick for both of them. Well, hey, nothing wrong with that. Okay. Check our romances. Okay, so we have stripping and plants. We have basketball and striped snakes. This was witch, and I'm guessing this is reading, maybe. This is art. Is she Sabrina the Vampire Slayer? Is that what this is? And we have ghosts and, I don't know, science. Is Victor going to blind me with science? Is that the horrible thing that's going to happen? All right, well, let's go ahead and start the week. Week 1, Monday, 2nd of June. You shift slightly in your bed. Your limbs feel like dead wood, and you can readily stay in bed except for the headache playing havoc in your skull. Stirring, you groggily sit up on the edge of your bed and your feet hit the floor with a heavy thump. Blurrily, you look at your surroundings and realize that you fell asleep in your clothes from the night before. Yeah, Red, I know it was a tie. I was just joking. But yeah, I don't know what a tie has to do with anything. You glance down and see your dog giving a concerned glance in your direction. He gives your leg a gentle lick. There's a knock on your door, and for a moment it feels like someone is driving nails into your skull. Oh my god, it is Final Destination 3. She's Erin. Hey kid, are you awake? Ah! And good morning to you too. Do you want some toast with that? Sorry, Dad, I don't feel that well. I can imagine why. You know, I'm a little disappointed. Huh? I offered to pick you up. With a hangover this bad, you really shouldn't have driven home. I didn't drink that much. There was something wrong with the drinks. I didn't feel so great at the bar. It happens to the best of us. Or, you know, she's younger than that with a fake ID. So what do we tell him? She didn't drink that much? Didn't drink much. Okay, so we'll go with I didn't drink that much. Yeah, true enough. But that's the thing, I only had a few drinks. I know my limits. Sometimes it's easy to forget just how much you drink, especially when you're with friends who don't practice proper grammar like I do. You rummage through your pockets and pull out a couple receipts and show them to your father. See, I didn't drink that much. Well, come downstairs when you can and I'll have breakfast ready. Joshua closes the door and the sound sends another slight wave of pain through your head, but at least it isn't as bad as before. From the corner of your eye, Nick has his teeth bared and is snarling at you. Please be quiet, boy. Nick cocks his head and gives another slightly more hesitant growl before pawing at the closed door. With a slight sigh, you rise from the bed and get ready to start your day. Again, Monday, 2 June. Now that you have some free time, you find yourself back at home rummaging around the refrigerator. For some reason, you've been hungrier than normal, but nothing really seems to taste as good lately. You're eyeing the lunch meats and wonder how it would taste in a potato chip sandwich when you hear someone clear their throat behind you. Turning, you see your stepfather standing behind you, a small look of embarrassment on his face. Hey, Dad, do you need in here? You know, I've said that before, so... No, I'm good. Joshua pats his stomach for emphasis, and then his features grow a little more serious. If you got some time, I could use a favor. Sure, what do you need? I'd like you to speak to Sabrina. I know Sabrina is an adult. Turning 18 will do that for you. However, something is going on with her, and I don't want her to ruin her life for it. I'll ask her one more time, but I don't feel comfortable interrogating her. Well, she should be home in about a half hour. I'll see her then. You decide to wait in Sabrina's bedroom to talk with her. Great, it doesn't seem like you're interrogating her. It seems like an intervention. This will give you a measure of privacy and hopefully persuade her to open up to you. The room feels quite spacious since it doubles as a painting studio. It feels quite cheery, especially when the morning sun lights up the room, making the various paintings feel alive. Looking at each painting, it is like looking at various points of Sabrina's life. There is the finger painting from first grade, which earned her a blue ribbon in a competition. There is another which Sabrina made for a girl she was crushing on, but was rejected when she shared her desire. Oh, rough. Then your eyes are drawn to some other pictures, some on the ceiling, some above her bed. These look to be quite more recent. Look at the ceiling, look above the bed. Where do we stare? Ceiling? Ceiling. Well, I think it's talking about ceiling up here for those and above the bed for these. Alright, ceiling. You look at the ceiling and smile as you remember how Sabrina pestered you and your father until some of her paintings were mounted. Until now, though, you never took that close of a look. You look at a red and white painting. What you took to be red and white lines actually looks like a tree with birds amongst the branches. There is something sinister about the picture, for the color looks like fresh blood, and you can almost taste the iron on your tongue. Stop licking the picture. You step back from the paintings and see that you have at least another 10 minutes before Sabrina gets back. Though you had worked with her earlier, you know her schedule can be quite erratic even after work. So you find yourself staring at her dresser. The top is cluttered with various sundry items like her jewelry, makeup, and whatnot. Then you spy a sketch pad. There is a piece of paper exposed. Well, looking closer and noticing the quality of the picture, it comes from a time when Sabrina was much less skilled. It shows a figure that looks somewhat like you, dressed in a medieval gown of some kind. Yes, medieval armored gown. Oh, in there. Oh, okay. You're locked in a cage behind a dragon, and battling the dragon is a knight, but one that appears to be Sabrina-shaped. I totally got that backwards. You start to turn the picture around to get a better look when you hear a clink as your shoe presses up against something. Looking down, you see something, a point sticking out of the bottom of the dresser. Oh no, a point? Curious, you pull it out and find that it is a rather wicked-looking dagger. There appear to be some dried red flakes on the side of the blade. She's painting with a dagger? There really is something wrong. Suddenly you hear Nick give a welcoming bark from down below. You quickly put the dagger back into Sabrina's back and take a seat at the foot of Sabrina's bed. The door opens with great energy as Sabrina dashes into the room, and she about falls when she sees you sitting there quietly. Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Sabrina. Several moments of quiet pass, and you find yourself clearing your throat. Who did you murder? I guess you're wondering why I'm in your room. Among other things, yes. She takes a seat beside you, and you notice there is a hint of apple blossoms in the air. This is about Dad again, isn't it? Nods. Yeah, don't get mad at him. He's just worried. Sighs. Look, I don't want to get into a fight about it, but this isn't his business. Nor mine. Sabrina looks at you, and there is a sad look on her face. I'd like to tell you, really I would, but we haven't really had a chance to talk in a long time, have we? No, I miss those talks. Don't get me wrong, you had college, and I had school, and now my job. Sabrina goes silent, and you give her hand a gentle squeeze. For what it's worth, I've enjoyed working with you on the job. You haven't even been there yet. Me too. You literally have not started any of your jobs this week. Ask about the sketch pad. Ask about the dagger. Talk inconsequential stuff. Or inconsequential stuff. Ugh. Okay. Big choice here, folks. One for sketch pad, one for dagger. Sketch pad, okay. Sketch pad it is, playing it cool. Artist alignment 1. Okay. I couldn't help but notice your sketch pad. I shouldn't leave that out. I hope... Nonsense. It is your room. If anything, I know I'm the intruder here. I just wanted to say I like the picture. You did? It doesn't bother you? Should it? I admit I never thought of you as being my knight in shining armor. Blushes. I made it back in 7th grade. It was just some idle doodling. Well, I still liked it. Although why would a dragon would be attacking me? I drew that when you were going through that breakup you had as a sophomore. God, that was ages ago. I was devastated. I know. If I could have, I would have protected you from it. Like in the picture? How? By cutting the boyfriend's head off? You rise from the bed and make your way to the door. Just as you twist the knob, you feel a moment of dread rise along your spine. You glance in Sabrina's direction, and a brief thought flashes through your mind. Enemy. Holy, look at that look. What the hell happened there? Sabrina looks at you with concern. Do I have something on my face? No, I just realized how grown up you've become. Apparently. I mean, technically you're not related, so... Blushes. And as for Dad, I'll tell him to back off. Thanks. Monday, 2nd June. You found yourself a bit unsure when a customer asked what psychedelic mushrooms would you recommend when listening to Mozart. Wow, that disappeared fast. You look at your phone, then the building before you, then your phone once more. This is where I'm supposed to show up? You check the address Victor sent you one last time and shrug. At least you weren't late. In fact, you have 5 minutes to spare. However, the way Nick was taking his time on his morning walk, you thought for sure you'd be late. Broken windows and cracked walls surround you, and the smell of rotten eggs assault your nostrils. You feel something lightly tap the top of your head. Instinctively, you look up and see the ceiling is as devastated as the walls. You look around the building, wondering whether Victor was playing a joke at your expense, but for the time you've known him, that would be entirely out of character. So you take another look around the place to pass the time. You see some graffiti on the back wall, while there seems to be a pile of something dark burned into the floor in the corner. Check out the graffiti or look in the corner. You look in the corner. Baby is there. I wonder who put her there. Okay, we got 2 for the graffiti. 3 to get ready. Now go, graffiti, go. As you approach the graffiti, little stands out as the drawings are amateurish at best. If anything, you are drawn to the words beneath the pictures. Written in red paint are the words, "For a good time, call Natasha at 666. You stand back up and decide that you may have better things to do with your time. I don't. What's the rest of that? I would laugh my ass off if instead of 555 for all the fake numbers in Hollywood, we did 666. A couple more minutes pass when you hear the door at the far end of the room creak open. Victor is standing there, looks at his watch, and gives a smile. 8 a.m. right on the dot. I'm glad to see that you make efficient use of your time. I'm glad to see that you're a blacksmith. Actually, I got here about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Victor goes quiet and chews on his lip in a gesture you realize is indicative of him deep in thought. He gives a slight nod of his after about a minute passes. 3 minutes is still within the parameters of acceptable arrival time. I never knew someone would get upset if someone came a little early. Not so much upset, it's disappointed. Wow, in 2 days, 2 different people have said they were disappointed in her. Call Natasha for a job. With her area code is 666. Oh, no. Oh. Think of it this way. Every minute that passes is one you can never reclaim, correct? So you just died 4 minutes inside. I can't argue with that. Of course not. It is a logical conclusion. Therefore, if you go somewhere too early, all you're doing is wasting time which could be used in a more productive fashion. Oh, take me here and now, Victor. Just right against the, whatever it is in the corner. You might have a point, but there are still ways to make it enjoyable. Perhaps. However, that topic should wait for another day as you must commence your duties. Please follow me. Oh, commence my duties. You stride down a darkened hallway, and if anything, it is even worse than the previous room you were just in. However, you then come across a thick metal door, and near it is a smaller metal box which is divided into 2 portions. The upper half appears to be some kind of scanner, while the bottom part holds the outline of a hand. Unauthorized presence detected. Please step away from the entrance point or prepare for proper deterrence. I would normally be impressed by your security measures, but what does it mean by deterrence? For the moment, it is better that you don't know. Needless to say, it isn't pleasant. Victor steps in front of you and clears his throat. Computer, override. Authorization Victor. Voice analysis accepted. Command acknowledged. Password really stupid. Anti-entry measures powering down. Sorry about that. Once we get you settled in, I will see about adding your biometric data to the security system. You won't have any problems in the future. I'll just need to borrow your hand and your retina. By the way, you won't be getting those back. Victor puts his head near the scanner and places his hand on the outline. 2 red lights appear, scanning his eye and his hand. Retinal scan and handprint accepted. Welcome back, Victor. The voice is not unknown to us at this point. It's fucking Meaty GLaDOS. Isn't that a little, well, paranoid? Possibly, but I don't think you can ever be too prepared, don't you think? Not what she said. Prepared for what? Armageddon? Not this location. One question, why an abandoned building? Is it because you're hiding something? Step this way and you will see what I'm hiding. Holy shite. You follow Victor through the metallic doorway and you find yourself in a room filled with several technological marvels. Or Demolition Man style, the eyeball and the pencil. So, what do you think? Amazing. And all this is yours? I got an inheritance from my grandfather, separate from my family's wealth. So they don't know about this place? Maybe my father. However, if he does, he hasn't brought it up, and I would prefer to keep it that way. From Victor's tone of voice, you can tell that this is a bit of a sore subject to him. Do you mind if I look around? Be my guest, though I guess you are technically my employee now. Your eyes are drawn to the shelves at the back. You first start looking through his bottles of chemicals and find yourself quite impressed. There is a good number that you couldn't have unless you had the appropriate licenses, wealth, or both. You start mixing yourself cocktails and pouring them down the hatch indiscriminately. Slightly more worrisome, though, are some you could swear are illegal. Then your eyes are drawn to a specimen jar, but it contains a creature you never saw before. It looks vaguely reptilian, but has two prominent fangs at the front. That's called a snake, honey. Okay, no, that's not. Victor, what is this? Oh, that's my chupacabra. Like you do. Very funny. Seriously, what is it? Some kind of mutant lizard? I told you, it's my chupacabra. Haha, wait, you're serious, aren't you? Completely. And as Egon would say, I'm always serious. Is this sort of like when I saw you at the club when you said you were searching for ghosts? No, that was completely different. I was trying to confirm the existence of ghosts. I've already got a chupacabra. Yeah, no need to hunt for any more. You feel a slight uneasiness fill you and you hold on to the shelf for support. So that thing in the jar, it's real? DNA sequencing shows it as being no known species. So yeah, maybe. Then this lab, it really is a secret lab. And are you some kind of mad scientist? Victor appears slightly hurt by the appellation. Steal a line from Ninja Turtles here. I'm not mad. A little peevish, maybe. Oh yeah, Mr. Kitten, she's brimming with anticipation. Mad? Do I give off that impression? No, sorry, it's just a turn of phrase. So when you're not in school, I guess you could say I'm sort of a paranormal investigator. A buster of ghosts, if you will. And you believe all this is real? Well, I was going to wait before saying this, but if you want to go with me on my next investigation, you're welcome to come. It might be just you, but you think you detect some redness in Victor's cheeks, as if he is somewhat bashful to invite you. And you don't have any other motive on wanting me there? The redness increases a little, and Victor slightly stammers. Of course not. Oh, of course. Ghostbusters was an absolutely brilliant comedy. Still stands up today. Agree to go. For science, Thomas Dolby. Agree to go to keep him company? You'll consider it. So I guess this is partially for, how serious we want to commit to it. Go for science, okay. Red and insomniosis, what do you think? Science. Okay. Weird science it is. Nerd alignment. +1. Of course I'll go. I mean, if you're being honest about the chupacabra, imagine what else there might be. Scientific discovery is one of the purest motives there can be. Most scientists believe that. The rest of them are in it for the money or the ego. So what are you going to have me do today? Nothing too onerous. Simple reorganization and cleaning to start with. Just make sure you tell her exactly how to do it, because some of that shit can be dangerous. You donned what appeared to armored hazmat suits when Victor announced today was the day you would reclaim the storage closet from the dust bunnies. I think I read that fast enough. You feel a slight chill as you try to navigate your way through the dungeon. Looking down, you feel grateful that you managed to escape with your life when that gelatinous monster engulfed you and consumed your armor. There is a large growl behind you, and a large wolf-like creature pads your way. It licks its lips as it homes in on your scent. You look about for a weapon of any kind, your sword and shield long gone with your armor. Unfortunately, nothing is close at hand, except for a door. It looks sturdy enough that if you put your weight behind it, you should stay safe. As the door closes behind you, you find yourself in a space of pure blackness. You look for the door behind you, but to your chagrin, it has completely disappeared. What foul spell is this? You glance for any sort of orientation, but all is complete and utter darkness. You get a slight headache when you look toward the distance, but without any landmarks, it all bleeds into one amorphous ebon nightmare. Yeah, looks like you picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. You slowly start to walk, though it is disconcerting to have no direction to go to. A slight chill goes down your spine, and you can't help but get the feeling you are being watched. For a moment, you thought you heard something behind you, but as you swivel on your heel, you're just confronted with yet more blackness. Is anyone out there? Hello? For a moment, you think that all of this must be some horrible dream. You give your head a vigorous shake, but this avails you little but a slight headache, a pain that is becoming a little too common for your taste. You move once more, though without a marker or destination. It feels pointless. Just as you think you might take another short break, you hear a dull laugh coming from the right. Oh my god, she's being stalked by Ben Stein. Who's there? Show yourself. The laugh continues for another few seconds. But there is nothing to see. You edge forward when you feel a slight touch on your left shoulder as if caressed by a feather. Touched by an angel. You turn around once more, but this time you think you can see a shape within the darkness. Its outline appears to be human, but that is all you can see. But that is all you see. Welcome. Who are you? Why, I'm your host, of course. Host? Change your hairspray blend. Yeah, this is going to lead to like a horrible class action lawsuit against Vidal Sassoon, isn't it? Host? Yes, host. Do you think you can enter my sanctuary without an invitation? What are you saying? I received no invitation. Come now, you are starting to try my patience with your unceasing prattle. Please walk this way. And talk this way. No, I'm not going anywhere until you answer my questions. He told me to walk this way and talk this way. You come into my home, you make a mess of my things, and then you stand there making demands of me. How rude. A wave of panic sweeps over you as the shadow starts to move towards you. Though you can't see its face, anger and menace radiate from it. You have a little time before it is upon you. What do you do? Attack it, run, ask for mercy. What? Ooh, wee, ooh. By the way, did any of you think you were going to be playing D&D tonight? Okay, run. Run. We're running. You decide you've had enough of this, and with the speed you didn't know you had, dart away from the shadow. You run for what seems like miles, occasionally looking behind you. You ran 500 miles, and then you ran 500 more. At first you saw the shadow, but it slowly started to fall away until it was completely out of sight. Then you look forward once more and almost scream as you see a human-shaped figure flat on the ground. It slowly starts to increase in size. You try to sprint away, but the shadows reaches longer yet, and you flail impotently as you fall into the shadow. Right here waiting, staying strong, come and fall into me. You let out a shout and your eyes open wide. Taking a glance, you see that you are lying on your bed, the blankets drenched with sweat. Nick gives a soft whine and licks your hand as you settle back into bed. Week 1, Wednesday. For your first week of work, you find Nadia isn't a very demanding boss, though an eclectic one. I think I have about enough time to go through one more person, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Eclectic boss. We've all had him. Yawn. You shake your head, trying to wake up when you feel a soft hand on your shoulder. Everything all right? If the research is boring you. No, it's not that. I've just not slept well the last couple days. Nothing to get worried about. If you're sure. I am. Between these articles and the equipment you had me order, are you getting ready to do another ghost hunting session? In a way, yes. I'm a little surprised that you figured it out. When you asked me to find out what I could on the old Vandermoor place, it couldn't be much else. Going as far back as I could remember, kids would always dare each other to go inside. Did you? Me, Brandon, and Sabrina did. Sabrina? Yeah, the teenage witch. If you didn't know better, you'd swear there was a slightly jealous edge to Nadia's tone. She's my stepsister. We're probably not gonna fuck, don't worry. Are you close? Probably not gonna fuck. We get along pretty good. Anyways, we made a bet with some friends that we could stay in the attic for at least a half hour. The place where old man Vandermoor hung himself. So what happened? Well, when Mom and Dad said the place was dangerous, they were right. Not in any spooky sense, but I thought the stairs were going to collapse under our weight. Chuckles. That is one of the hazards of ghost hunting, one that many people don't realize. You get old, abandoned buildings. I think the worst bit of it was mold. I swear I was sneezing half the time. Needless to say, we won the bet. Well, that wasn't needless to say. With everything going on, you could have just totally bowed out, so I think you did need to say that. So what did you win from your bet? We got the other person's dessert at lunch for a week. A few minutes of silence fills the air and you spare a glance down at the newspaper. There is another article with an unexplained death at the estate. If you don't mind assuaging my curiosity, but do you believe in ghosts? You know, do you believe in just one ghost, or do you allow room for plural ghosts? Nadia sits down, her chin resting on her hands as she sits across from you. Yes, no, maybe. Do we believe in ghosts? Yeah, it's like the one normal person is the stripper. Okay, so we got a maybe. And we got a maybe. Okay, maybe it is. Definitely maybe. I can give you a solid maybe. So, okay, I get the feeling that that was a question where we could have scored some brownie points, but I don't think we did. A fence straddle then? There is no solid proof, but a lot of anecdotal ones. And those shows on television, well, they've been shown to make a lot of stuff up. If they showed the actual hours when nothing happened, well, people might prefer to watch grass grow. One thing I never understood is that most ghost stories, well, they only go back 100 years or so. For the sake of argument, let's assume that ghosts are real. They would exist as an entity separate from the body. I'm with you so far. In way, also in curds, they are made up of energy. The living gets their energy from eating. If you're dead, that isn't exactly an option. You can eat dead things. True, even in the case of possession, it would be your host who would be getting fed. Exactly. So this implies ghosts must get their energy from somewhere else. What is the biggest factor in ghost stories? When ghosts attack. The people scared? Bingo. Strong emotions, a different energy, as it were. The easiest for them to incite would be fear. Not to mention it would be boring to be a ghost. Oh. Think about it. Most ghost stories tell of them being confined to a certain spot or area. I can't think of a worse sort of prison. Yeah, really. So spooking people will bring some excitement to their unlife. So if strong emotion is food for a ghost, would love count as well? If you put hauntings aside, you do have stories where ghosts will show up for a loved one. Ah, yes, remember, February the 14th is Ghosts Day. Mark it on your calendars. And February the 15th is Half Price Candy Day. Nadia seems a bit wistful as she says the last, and she gets a distant look on her face. Something wrong? No, just thinking that if I could, even death wouldn't come between me and the one I love. This one would go out to the one I left behind. That is romantic, though bordering a little on the stalkerish. Pfft. Yeah, how do you get a restraining order against a ghost? Okay, you cannot haunt within 500 feet of me. Blushes. I guess it does. So, who's the lucky woman? You assume a lot. There isn't one. Sadly, between my professional life and my hobbies, it makes it hard to be with someone. What about you? Focused as I was on graduating, I didn't exactly find that special someone. If nothing else, we would likely have split up after college. True enough, but it can still hurt. No different than high school. If anything, I found that worse. After all, you're still a teenager, and up to that point, you really weren't exposed to the rest of the world. And telling someone it will get better doesn't really help. Thank you for saying so. I'd like to see some passages about pansomniosis. Even if it is true. Look at us talking about life and death. As if we just came out of a trashy romance novel. Or a Vizu novel. One with vampires. There's always got to be vampires. Hopefully the kind that don't sparkle. I love you, Caitlin. I love you, Caitlin. Thank you. Thank you for dismissing the non-vampire vampires. They don't. Not unless they've been hitting the glitter a little too heavily. It would make stalking a victim a little tough. Please, glitter would be an essential accessory if I went on the prowl. Ah. Rawr. So would I be on the menu? Would you like to be? Oh boy. Someone call human resources. Come on, tonsil box. I'm thinking from Werewolf is like, if she really is a wolf, she'll have 3 rows of breasts. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Would you like to be? I'd rather not be dinner. Perhaps. Oh yeah, Werewolf is easily my favorite, because I actually saw the movie before I saw the episode, and I'm like, I had no surprise it was going to be on MST3K. In fact, the rumor is that the director of the movie, Tony Zarandast, actually gave them the movie. Alright, so what do we do? You'd rather not be dinner? Make your choices. We'd rather not be dinner. And I think we just lost another point with her. While I would love to go out for dinner, I wouldn't want to be dinner. Blushes. Did I say something wrong? No, just an interesting thought. Oh, what was it? Let's just say it involved you in the context of eating. Okay. Blushes. I'd better get back to work. Still, this was an interesting break. That it was. While checking out some reference books, Nadia advised you to ignore any screams you might hear. When pressed, she said there was something wrong with the ventilation system, and at times it could sound like people crying out in anguish. Okay. Yeah, this is a good time for a save. Yeah, very suddenly creepy. Okay, well, we have gone ahead and saved before the start of the next job. This would be with Tyrone. And so we will continue this next week. I hope everybody is enjoying this. I don't know how many Vizu novels I'll actually end up doing on this stream, but this is one I wanted to do because I did really enjoy it. And also, I wanted to have something else for October. So I think this worked fairly well. But in the meantime, anyway, take care of yourself, and if you find that special someone out there, just try not to take too big a nip out of them. So, take care and watch the shadows until we game again. This episode 6665309 Natasha was made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, D.I.O.D., Jumpy Cat, Shin Majin, the post-production contributions of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my Got My Number Lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.